Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Joffy Noodle Legs and Sullivan here today. We've got another horror movie video for you today. Today I'm doing my top 10 favourite monster movies. Now I've left quite a few out, like some of the Universal ones, The Creature from the Black Lagoon, and some of those sort of like really old ones. And I've left out all sort of ones that are killer animals. I will do a top 10 on that. I'll call it When Nature Takes Revenge. I will do a top 10 on that. So I've left killer animals out. These are just basically monsters. Okay, so I've got a top 10 and I've got a few honourable mentions. First of all, do my honourable mentions. First one's not really a horror film, and that's Godzilla. This was the one of the more sort of recent Godzilla films. This is the 3D version of the film, plus I've also got the normal DVD version in there. Yeah, Godzilla films are awesome. I like pretty much all of them, even the old ones to the up-to-date ones, to be honest. They're really cool. So that's an honourable mention. Another honourable mention is a science fiction one, and that is Starship Troopers. There's some great creatures in this, some great monsters. There's sort of bug-like monsters in this one, and it's quite a gory film. Starship Troopers. It's quite cool. I quite like it. It's about these guys go onto this planet that's all loads of different creatures on there, and they're after a brain. It's a good film. Another honourable mention is Cloverfield. This is really cool. This is about almost like a sort of Godzilla-like animal roaming the streets of New York, and it's a survival sort of horror film. But it's got a great monster in there. It's really cool. Some good creatures in that one. Another honourable mentions is a wacky one with a wacky cast, and that's Feast. It's got quite a big cast, including Henry Rollins. It's quite a good film. There's these guys stuck in a bar, and there's the creatures outside trying to get in to kill them. It's a typical sort of monster flick. It's okay. It's not too bad. It didn't reach the top 10, but it's a good film. So we're going to my top 10. Number 10, I believe this is a British film. I believe it is anyway, and it's the Descent. This is really cool. There is a second one, The Descent 2, and there's about this group of women that go caving, and they get into a area of the cave where it's very claustrophobic, and they come across these blind sort of creature monsters inside the cave that sort of like are blind but respond to sort of like sound, so they've got to be very quiet trying to find a way out, and while the monsters are trying to hunt them down. It's a really cool film. It's quite an intense film actually. That's The Descent at number 10. Number 9, it's a modern film. Whoops, sorry. Came out earlier this year. That's Resident Evil. Welcome to Raccoon City. The monsters in this film are fantastic. There aren't many zombies in the film. There are some, but not many. There's loads of sort of other monsters like lickers, and is monster with a huge big eye. There's loads of different monsters in there. Really cool monsters. And it's a really good film. I really love this film. It's really close to like the film, the video games. That's why I like this one more than the other Resident Evil. I do like them, but this one I found more closer to it. And it's got some great monsters in there, as well as zombies. So I've included it in it as a monster film. That is number 9. Number 8 is a Del Toro film, which I spoke about before, and that's Mimic. This is a really good monster flick. It's got like these giant human-like cockroaches that live in the sewer, and they start talking to a young boy who goes down to the sewer, and it's about the story of his father and some police detectives going down to the sewer to find these monsters, because they've been killing sort of like people around the city. And so that's what that's about. And they sort of like communicate with this boy, and they sort of take him in, and the dad's going looking for him. It's a really good film, and it's a beautiful looking film, and the creatures look really cool. So that's in at number 8. That's Mimic. Number 7 is a Korean film, and that's The Host. This is a great monster flick. it's another one sort of like it's like this monster that's been living in a lake in the sewers, and it then appears and goes across. There's people on holiday, and they're sort of like on the sort of not beach, but the area around the lake, and having picnics and stuff. And this monster comes out and he just starts killing them all, eating them all, and he kidnaps a girl. So the guy goes looking for the girl. It's a typical monster flick. It's really really good, and the monster effects in this are really really cool. Really like it. Uh, Number 6 is another quite modern one with Emily Blunt, and this is A Quiet Place. This is a great film. I mean, the creatures, monsters do remind me of Silent Hill quite a lot. And again, it's a little bit like The Descent, where they're kind of blind and they rely on their hearing. So that's quite similar to The Descent, but this one is more, it's widespread all around the sort of like world, and there's these creatures that are there that can, and they've just been killing people off. It's a great typical monster flick. Quite a few of these are quite modern, as you see. There were loads of monster flicks in the 50s and sort of like the 60s and stuff like that, which I really do like. Films like Night of the Demon, really really good film. Really really cool film. 19 Night of the Demons, not Night of the Demon. That's a really cool monster flick. And there's the 1950s Blob with Steve McQueen. But in my top 5 is the remake of the Blob, which is brilliant. This is so much better than the original, which is really weird. And it's a really really good film. This is a great monster film. If you want for a good sort of like popcorn monster flick, the Blob is fantastic. This is really really gory as well, and it's really cool. It's a typical drive-in movie, sort of monster movie. So check it out if you've never seen the Blob. To my top 4, this one I spoke about before. This one was based around a supermarket where all these people are stuck inside with the monsters on the outside, inside the mist, and it's called The Mist. This version is really cool. It's got the colour version and the black and white version of the film, which is kind of a little bit mad because you can make any movie black and white by taking the colour out. But it's a fantastic film, and it's all these different storylines going on. There's one woman there thinks it's got the god ascending down like a sort of like, oh, not a plague, but some like a plague of monsters on Earth for the way we treat the planet. And there's like another family trying to survive. There's all these different stories that come together, and anyone that goes outside gets sort of killed off. It's got a little bit of a Lovecraftian feel to the film. Sorry, feel to the film. It's a really good film, and the creatures are really really cool, and they're quite spooky. There's loads of sort of flying ones. There's ones with like Lovecraftian with sort of like legs, like octopus legs, and there's so many different huge monsters. There's loads. This is probably one of the best monster flicks ever. That's The Mist. Getting to the top 3. Number 3 doesn't get talked about very much. It's an 80s film called Prophecy. This is really cool. It's about these 2 guys down there that go to this forest area they're just like these eco sort of warriors that go there to talk about find out what's corrupting the environment. And there's a creature there which is, it's a bit bear-like, but it's not. It's a monster, and it does resemble a bear, but it does quite a few sort of killings, and this is quite a gory film, and it is a typical sort of forest monster film, and it's really really cool. Prophecy. This is the first time it's been released on Blu-ray in the UK, so it's great to have that. It's a really cool collection. My top 2, I spoke about them so many times, monster flicks, and I'm really torn about what's 1 and 2. So I'm going to go with number 2 with The Deadly Spawn. I love this film. This is about this meteorite that lands, and it's like a creature on there that spawns off these tiny little creatures, and they're just aliens with teeth, if you like. They're just like mountains and mountains of teeth, layers and layers of teeth, and it's an extremely gory film. And it ends up living in the basement of a family's home, and lots of locals are getting killed off, and it's a fantastic film. great monster flick is The Deadly Spawn. Try and watch it if you can get hold of it. I've not. It is available on Blu-ray, but not as a UK version. That's my old Vipco, which I've had for, I don't know, so long. Maybe 1999, something like that. I've had that such a long time, but it's still a good watch. So I don't feel the need to upgrade it because I still enjoy it from that format. That's The Deadly Spawn. Really, really cool. Number one is a really cool monster film. It's a Bigfoot film, and it's Night of the Demon. This is my favourite monster film. It's very gory. It is a video nasty. It was banned for a long, long time. And when it came out, you could only pick up some really, really bad copies of it that were sort of like rubbish, sort of like transfers. But it's finally on Blu-ray now, and it looks stunning. This looks really, really cool. It's the best of movies ever looked. But yeah, this is a really gory film about these people that go into the forest searching for the Bigfoot, and well, there you go, the Bigfoot's there, and they end up killing most of them. What a great film! Really good monster flick. So that's it. That's my top 10 monster flicks. As I said, I could go on forever. There's so many that I haven't put in there, like the Babadook and Silent Hill. There's some great monster flicks, and so, like I say, some of the old monster films from like the 50s. It came from outer space. All these sort of monster flicks. I mean, The Incredible Shrinking Man, I suppose you could class that as a monster flick. There's so many really good monster flicks out there. Please recommend some down to me down below, because I can never get enough of these monster films. Like I said, I've left out a lot of the animal ones, you know, Jaws, Craw, Deep Blue Sea, and all the sort of animal ones, Eight-Legged Freaks, because I just wanted to, they're more real animals, aren't they, you know what I mean? Whereas these are just monsters, so that's why I sort of left them out. But anyway, that is my top 10. I hope you enjoyed it. If you get a chance, please go and check out Horror Hands channel, and Horror and Todge, and the Horror Geek, and Sarah in Horror. Please check their channels out, guys. Anyway, until next time, look after yourselves, and I really hope I see you all soon.